All right, hey everyone, and welcome to Sportabox, the new sports podcast. And you're joined today by myself, Simon, Steve, and Henry. And what we're going to do is we're going to get right into it, and we're going to preview the game week 5 Premier League fixtures for this weekend. What we're going to do is just have a quick review of what we think the game can happen in the games, and then we're going to give our predictions for each games, and then move on from there. We're not actually sponsored by anybody, so typically in your sports podcast right now, you probably have a breakout. You'd hear some shaving gel sponsors or some balls wax sponsors or anything like that. So yeah, we just started. So yeah, we're going to get right into it. So without further ado, let's preview the first game of the weekend, which is tomorrow night, and that is Newcastle versus Leeds. So Steve, how do you see that one going?
Newcastle in trouble, man. I think they're leaky at the back. They're missing Callum Wilson. Haven't scored much. I think they scored something out of nothing last week at Old Trafford. Played well for a good 70-odd minutes, but then got battered 4-1 at the end. I think there could be a few goals in it. Leeds are obviously good on the counter, the way they play. 3-0, 4-0 maybe to Leeds.
Really?
Yeah, I think there'll be goals.
I think when I see Leeds is kind of the amount of goals they let in, I think it's been kind of flattened by Liverpool spanking them last week, and then United obviously spanking them as well. I think they've got like the second worst goal difference in the league in terms of like goals conceded. So yeah, I think it will be definitely a high scoring game, and neither of them have won a game yet, have they? So
yeah, I think they're potentially decent. It's just I think with the way the club is at the moment, they've not really brought in anyone. Steve Bruce is literally having fights with the Newcastle media. I heard him on radio this morning saying that, for the people that think it's laughable for me to succeed, well, we'll see or something. It's like you shouldn't be having to justify your position to the press. So they're in a bad situation. I think they get spanked again, to be honest.
I think it's early days. I'm not sure they'll get spanked by Leeds at home. Well, I see Leeds winning, probably like a 2-1, something like that. I see definitely goals in it as well. I think it's still early days. Like they I watched the West Ham loss, and that was pretty that was pretty bad. And then I watched it last week get rolled. Bend over for Cristiano Ronaldo. I swear, But I'm not gonna have Leeds. I don't think Leeds will spank them. I think Leeds probably a draw or Leeds win. So I'm officially predicting like 2-1 Leeds. I just think it's too early in the season to write them off. And Leeds aren't the type of team that you can just expect to go to St James's Park and just walk it. If they do, I'd be impressed. I think Leeds should just shade it. I think because Leeds have had a tougher draw.
I think it's going to be a draw. I'm going 2-2 in this one, to be honest. I think both teams disappointing start. I can't pick a winner really when I look at them both, how they performed. I think I can see an easy situation where Newcastle take the lead, 2-goal lead, and Leeds pull it back. I just think Newcastle have good spell.
Who's going to score them for Newcastle? Like, genuinely, I'm asking because, apart from Wilson, I don't really see a goal threat. Like, who's going to score for Newcastle? Like, Wilson's not playing, so who's going to score?
I see them getting goals, set pieces, scrappy corners. I just see them getting the point because Leeds defensively for me concern me this season. In fact, they always had them last season, but they had the firepower to overcome it, and I just don't. I think they're going to struggle this season, definitely a lot more than they did last, and I just can't see. The horrible start they've got. I think no momentum. They haven't really looked to many of the games they've been in, and I just can't see them going to St James's Park and getting a win. Definitely not a win, but then I can't see them losing, which I'm going high scoring. 2-2 draw.
I think this is the perfect game to lose at the moment. You got Dallas, you got Bamford. I think Dan James will probably start tomorrow. You got Rafinha. Got a lot of attacking threats. Newcastle will try and be a low blocking team. I think they'll get found out pretty early on, and then after that, I think it'll just be a goal fest. I literally don't give Newcastle any chance. I don't think they get spanked.
We're going for 4-0. Is that what you're going for, right?
Yeah, I think 3s or 4s.
All right, fair enough. Let's move on to the next game. Early kickoff. Wolves versus Brentford. I mean, it's not going to be a blockbuster of a midday game, I don't think.
Game of the weekend.
Brentford are just they're not exciting either, let's be honest. Obviously, they grind out the first result against Arsenal when, people thought, could they be that new promoted team who's going to, do what Leeds did last year? And I can't see it at all. I think, very negative. But let's see, what's your thoughts on that one?
I think Wolves, I think they picked up their first win last week against Watford away. I think they've created a lot of chances in the first few games. They've been unlucky not to score more than what they have. Brentford obviously came off a good win against Arsenal. Haven't really done much since. I think Wolves will probably win this one again. Can see it being fairly tight until there's another second, and then Wolves will probably put the game to bed. I think it'll be probably 2-0, something like that. But I don't really see Brentford scoring. I don't think Tony's done much since. I think he's scored once so far. Still adjusting to the Prem. Yeah, I can't really see anything past the Wolves win. I think Wolves are doing actually all right. I think they've created a lot. They haven't really scored many yet.
Yeah, that's the problem.
But I think
shit, can they? That's the problem.
Yeah. Even when they play
so many chances, they just can't put the ball in the back. And it was the same as well last week, really. So it's just
yeah. But I think once they start, and I think they have started now, I think they'll go on and score quite regularly. I think they should be able to score against Brentford. I think they'll score a couple at least.
Yeah, I think Wolves should win. What I would say though, Brentford have proven like difficult to beat. They only lost for the first time last weekend against Brighton, so they're proven a bit quite difficult to beat. So, and Wolves, they kind of got their confidence against Watford, didn't they? Because they've had a tough start to the season as well, and they've only really lost narrowly. So, I see this being like a 1-0 Wolves.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Or kind of, yeah. Like Brentford have been all right. Like they've been hard to beat. They haven't rolled over for anyone yet. And Wolves, they're picking up. But yeah, 1-0 Wolves, I'll probably say. It's a great one.
Yeah, I agree with that one. So next up, Burnley, Arsenal. Arsenal got their first win of the season in great fashion last weekend, a 1-0 win against Norwich. They're back. So Aubameyang's on the score sheet again. He's probably licking his lips at the thought of going to Burnley and adding to that. Henry, what do you think in that one? You think Arsenal now got the momentum to and move further up the table?
Well, yeah, I think it's important to discuss our first 6-pointer of the season. But nah, and do you know what? I think 1-1. Turf Moor's never a good place to go, no matter how badly they're doing. And I don't think Arsenal have the confidence yet to go in there with that kind of confidence that they're just going to turn up and beat Burnley. I've got 1-1. I feel like Burnley will make it uncomfortable. I feel like Arsenal have the players, and eventually they will, win these games later on in the season. But I think confidence-wise, Burnley will just kind of make it difficult for them. And I can see Arsenal having to scrape a late equaliser to salvage a point at Turf Moor.
Not my two favourite teams to watch, I have to say. But I think if this was any other mid-table club, then they'd probably come out of it fairly confidently. But Arsenal, I don't know. I mean, they're really struggling to score. I think the dynamics of the team are a mess. I think Arteta I think he's lost the dressing room. I think the win last week against Norwich, it was scrappy goal, really scrappy goal.
Yeah.
Didn't really come from anything creative or build-up play. It was just a horrible goal to watch. And yeah, they've got 3 points. I don't know if that's enough momentum to go to Turf Moor, but I mean, going to Burnley usually is never easy. I think I still give Arsenal a shot at winning, just because I think Burnley are really poor, really, really poor. I worry for them this season. I think they may go down. Sean Dyche has just signed a new contract as well this year. This morning, I think. So that should mean they go down this year. Just by
You think Burnley,
position.
don't you?
I really dislike the football. I think it's really anti-football. I mean, it's one of those boring sides. I hate watching them play. I hate watching them on TV. Unless it's United Burnley, I'll refuse to watch it. But yeah, I think Arsenal should have enough. I'm going to go for 1-0 Arsenal.
I'm going for 1-0 Burnley this one. I think honestly, I think they're going to rough them up. I really do. I just, it's a horrible team to play against. They're going to. I reckon they're going to beat them every second ball. They're going to be dominating in the air. I just think Arsenal are going to get a bit shell shocked. I haven't seen it from Norwich. I didn't see enough, to be honest, to be confident that they've got the football back. They can control the game. They can stick to someone like Burnley. And I think Burnley, if they could choose anybody, to face, it's probably Arsenal. If I'm honest, licking their lips that they can get, try and get their first win of the season. And it's going to be an ugly game. I just don't see Arsenal being able to grind out and get the win. If they do, though, turn it on and they beat Burnley like 2-0, 3-0, I think that's a statement in itself, So
Arsenal probably won't.
I'll be shocked. I think
they're one of the worst teams.
They're back.
Yeah. I think Arsenal are one of the worst teams when it comes to set pieces, and
that's it.
I worry for Arsenal when it comes to corners and free kicks, and Burnley, as horrible as they are to watch, and they really are horrible. They can produce when it comes to set pieces, and when Arsenal are leaking goals from throw-ins, you have to worry for them. So it could go either way. I think it'll be tight. I still see Arsenal just about doing enough, but wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Burnley take all 3 points.
Nice. So there we move swiftly on to Anfield. Still bouncing from the Champions League win against AC Milan.
5-0 Palace.
No, I'll start this one off. I think we're starting to build momentum back now from the horrible season we had last year. And I think if that AC Milan game, that was last season, we would have lost that. We'd have lost that game, no doubt. The way the team was, the mentality was terrible. And a couple of seasons before, it's funny as a Liverpool fan, we'd look, I'd check my phone when I'm out and about and see we're losing, but I wouldn't be bothered about we're going to win this game anyway. Last season, as soon as we went behind, it's like, that's it, game's done. We ain't got no ideas. But what I've seen at the beginning of this season is a lot more positivity. Obviously, got the team back now. We've got our first 11 back finally. And I think, Palace have come at a time where we're really picking up momentum, had a great result in the week. And I can't see anything but a 3-0 win, if I'm honest. I think Salah's going to get a brace. He's fully flat fire now. I hope Mane can get on the score sheet as well, because something seems a bit off there, which is a bit concerning. But I hope Mane can get on the score sheet as well. I think Palace is going to come, get slapped and get sent back home. So, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it should be a comfortable win for Liverpool. I think the result last week flattered Crystal Palace due to, 10 men, the shenanigans, playing against a team who showed up with only half the squad available because the rest of them decided to go to red list countries. But yeah, the result last week flattered Palace, but they played well. But I feel like any confidence that they do have will be swiftly squashed against Liverpool. I feel like Liverpool are playing a very good and resilient level, as Simon said. I think Salah, he's playing very well at the minute. Mane's kind of playing okay. Jota's involved. I think Liverpool and especially touch wood, well, not touch wood, fuck Liverpool, but in terms of the injuries, things are looking good. So there's, I think Liverpool are going to be in the mix, going to quietly pick up results while everyone pays attention to Chelsea and what United are doing, I think. So 2-0, 3-0, but I say probably 2-0 Liverpool.
I pretty much disagree with all that, I think. I think Liverpool did all right midweek against AC Milan. I think it's worth noting that it's probably the worst AC Milan side that has been in the Champions League probably ever.
How they get on the
and they just
Italian league this year?
and they just about scraped. But Liverpool are a decent side. You put their first 11 out, and I think man for man is probably the best 11 in the Premier League. I think. The problem is we don't know how good Van Dijk is after injury. We know how good he was before injury, but we don't know what he's like after that. I think there's also a lack of squad depth. I think Firmino is nowhere near at the level he needs to be for Liverpool to challenge. Jota is there. He's
He hasn't really been playing though. Firmino hasn't really been starting.
I'm
He hasn't been
talking about this
starting.
season. I'm talking about this season's aspirations. I mean, I don't know
But
if they've got
he's a
Firmino
hell of a
or
player
Jota.
to have coming off the bench.
Yeah. I just don't know if it's enough starting. If he's in the starting 11, I think Jota definitely is a really good option to have.
See,
I'd love him.
Ways
I
to
love him in.
Liverpool.
No. I love having. I would love to have Jota in my team. Firmino, not so much. Mane hasn't really been hitting form this season so far. Salah on fire. I just don't see what everyone else sees when it comes to this Liverpool side. I think as an 11, they're great, but as a squad, much better teams, much better squads. So, and I think injuries will probably pick up again this season. Probably not as bad as last season. I can't remember any team that suffered as many injuries as Liverpool did last season. And they did well to come in the top four. Like, I think they come third actually. So I think they recovered very well. Palace, I think they did well last week. I think 3-0 was flattering their performance. But they've got some new blood with Vieira coming in as the manager. They've got Edouard, who's had a really good spell at Celtic. He can finish. He had, 2 chances in 6 minutes, finished both of them. And Zaha will be a pest. He'll no doubt start a fight with somebody on the pitch, but, that's what he brings to the table. So I'm going for 1-1.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I think there'll be a Champions League hangover.
No way. I can't see it. Usually we've done one in Europe. We've then gone on to stomp again in the league, but we'll see. Now, across to Manchester, the blue side. Man City, Southampton. In a no doubt fully packed Etihad Arena. Henry, how do you see this all going?
They'll just pick up where they left off in midweek, 3-0. Southampton are capable on a one-off day of pulling something out, but their start to the season hasn't shown me that they're capable of beating Man City. It should be a routine 3-0 win, I'll be honest. Yeah,
I can't see anything more than a City round, to be honest. I think, 4-0. I think I'd go for that one, to be honest. I think, because they score early, control the game as they do, and Southampton just be trying to keep the score down, I think. What was it, 6-3? City won?
Yeah.
Scoring goals for fun. They literally scored. It was like shooting practice, and they're just trying to score as many as they could, really. And I think, they always start slow. They're picking up their momentum now, getting their shape together, getting the results in. I think, they're going to be in full swing soon, and they'll be fully going. I think Southampton now probably got them at the wrong time. I can't see nothing else but 4-0 spanking.
Yeah, I think that usually after a team performs against a good side in the Champions League midweek, I think the assumption would be that you would need to rest players and play a second team on the weekend. But I mean, after spending £1 billion, Pep has the luxury of having a top 4 second 11. So I don't see any problems there. I think we'll see some good talent. I think City will control the game. They'll score early, 3 or 4-0. Unfortunately, it'll be in front of like 5,000 fans, but I think still they'll score 4 or 5.
Another blockbuster of a game. Norwich welcome Watford. I'm going with Norwich for this one. Watford just. I don't know, to be honest with you. Just in pre-season, I thought it looked all right. I thought they'd come in, they'd be all right, but they've just literally been flatlined since opening the game. And I think Norwich have looked more promising in terms of getting results than Watford ever have. So I'm going to go for Norwich 2-0 in this one.
Interesting. I got Watford 1-0. Norwich have had a tough start to the season, to be fair. I think they've had what you think they've had Leicester. They've had I think who else? Arsenal, and one of the other big teams. The name skips me. So I feel like they've definitely had it difficult. So I feel like that's probably going to influence their confidence at the minute. Watford have been a bit up and down, but I've seen enough for them to mix it. Obviously, Sarr, great player. So I think they'll still win Watford 1-0 at Norwich.
Yeah, I'll go with that. I think Watford do take it. I've not really seen anything from Norwich on the attacking front to suggest that they'll pose too many problems. I know they've got Puka still playing around, but it's just levels for me. Like Norwich shouldn't really be in this league. I think these, gateway teams between the Prem and the Championship, they come and go every other season. You've got your West Broms, you've got your Norwich, you've got your Fulhams, these dead clubs. They come in and out, and Norwich will be down at the end of the season anyway.
Yeah, I think Norwich will be down. Watford would be shortly, coming them back down to Championship as well. And I think, and obviously Watford got the win on.
Henry's laughing at the Fulham corner.
That's ridiculous. But so moving on. So the next game is game, which I think is going to be a great game, to be honest. We've got Aston Villa against Everton. Obviously, Everton is, unbeaten, showing good promise under Rafa. Got them firing. Obviously, a great result last week. It's strange because Aston Villa have been showing some good spells once again in the games, and they've shown that they're a top quality team. But I just think Everton are just going to be in a different gear. To be honest, I can't say anything about Everton win here. I think I'm going to go for 3-1 Everton. To be honest, I think Aston Villa get a goal, probably an early goal. Everton will step it up, and I can see Everton blowing away. To be honest,
yes, it's going to be definitely a good game. Two teams with some talented players. I think it's going to come down to Rafa's coaching. Their result against Burnley was quite impressive, even without Calvert-Lewin as well. They look fluid. Damari Gray's he's flying. And I was very impressed. Andros Townsend's come out of nowhere, got some confidence. I got similar. I think 2-1 Everton. Obviously, Villa have got some great talent. Obviously, Danny Ings speaks for himself. And then, but I think Everton, tactically Rafa will probably win it in that aspect. But Villa at home, they're capable of pulling it out with the players that they got. So it wouldn't surprise me if it was 2-2, but I'm going to go for 2-1 Everton.
Yeah, it should be a decent game. On paper, it looks like it. I was pretty impressed with Everton midweek. I know Burnley's Burnley, but they went 1-0 down, half an hour to go. Rafa made some changes. Those changes seem to work really well. I think there'll be goals. I'm leaning towards a 2-2 though. I don't think I can't say with any conviction that I can see Villa winning, but I can see them scoring a couple. But I think they'll be leaky at the back as well. But I'm going for 2-2. I think.
Cool. We move on to first game on Sunday. Well, one of the first games on Sunday. Brighton welcoming Leicester. Henry, how do you see that one going?
I've got a draw. Brighton are doing all right, aren't they? Yeah. To be honest, they've been picking up results, and obviously, we a lot of us been singing Graham Potter's praises. I might actually go a Brighton win.
Yeah,
I'm thinking 1-0 Brighton.
I'm saying 1-0 Brighton.
With Leicester playing
tough game, exactly. Which I think is going on now. I think it's 2-2, so that's not an easy game. There's going to be tired legs from that.
Yeah,
and Leicester haven't exactly been firing on all cylinders yet either. So I think they're going to get caught out, and Brighton are going to grind out a nice 1-0 win. To be honest, and I hope they do. To be fair, I like the team, been playing well, and fair play to them. To be fair.
Yeah,
I
agree.
think they're well organised. They've got a good back line. I think Dunk is one of the better defenders I think we've got in the Premier League, especially in the non-top 6 kind of category as well. Potter, good manager. I think he's probably going to move on at some point to a bigger club. No disrespect to Brighton there, but you know he's done a good job there. I think Brighton. I think they've got it in themselves to beat Leicester. I don't see Leicester as the same Leicester as a couple of years ago. I think they've struggled at the start of the season. So yeah, Brighton 1-0.
Cool. And then we move on to the game at West Ham, and they welcome Man United, who are probably suffering hangover from getting spanked by young boys. As you can see, they're young boys repping young boys. You know, did the business. Ollie once again in Europe getting tactically up from the start to the finish.
So can I just get this straight? You've got
boys in Europe.
You've got a picture of young boys in Europe.
You got to wear the young boys flag with pride, man. They did their business. So saying that, all jokes aside, I can't see West Ham getting a result here. You know, especially Antonio getting sent off. Like, what was he doing? As soon as that happened, I was like, "You fucking idiot, man! You got United next, and you go and do that, and the game's gone anyway." But yeah, I think United. I don't think it's going to be an easier walk in the park. Definitely not. I'm going United 1-0. I think it starts slow, is what United usually do these days, and then I think Cristiano will come and get him out of trouble, which is what he's brought in to do. And I see United 1-0.
Yeah, I'm going back and forth. I'm toying between 2-2 draw and 2-1 United. Yeah, if this was the West Ham of last season, well, the form that they showed last season, I would have gone for a West Ham win here. I think United, when they're confident, very dangerous. But I'm kind of just waiting for the dust to settle. You haven't got a centre mid in there. So when the Ronaldo hype dies down, you lot keep taking Sancho off. Yeah, someone's going to do you over, but I just don't think it's going to be West Ham. Draw at the worst, I think, for United. I'll go 2-1 United. 2-1 United. Just because, it's going to be it's going to be 1-1, and then the ball's going to trickle, ricochet off Ronaldo's shins and in, and he's going to do his celebration,
Are you bold in the end? I thought you were going to go for a West Ham win.
They've been consistent. I would have, but they've been a bit too inconsistent to start off with.
Look, we haven't lost an away game.
Massive miss for me as well. I can't see.
We haven't lost an away game in the Premier League for over 2 years now. I think it was the week that we signed Bruno. So what was that? January 2020.
Was it Anfield? Last time we got.
It was Anfield. Yeah, Anfield. Anfield 2020 January was the last time we lost away in the Premier League. So look, we got a good run. Coming off a horrific loss, midweek to some Swiss chefs, which wasn't very, very good. But it is what it is. These things happen. I'd rather it be in the first game of the group stage in a fairly easy group. So there's still another 4 games. Still got to get another 10 points. I think it should be fairly straightforward. But look, Ollie's done this in the past. Every time he loses a game, the media's on him, the press is on him, the fans are on him. Jobs in jeopardy, blah, blah. And then he comes out and he goes unbeaten for 3 months or 4 months. So, I think we'll come back with a good performance. I think we've got good leaders in the team now, something we didn't have a couple of years ago. I think Varane will be itching to get that, get that centre back place, starting again. And Ronnie, obviously.
How do you think Ollie's developed as a coach?
I think it's a good question because
everything's player led. You know what I mean? If these players have an off night.
Yeah, I mean it's a strange one because when United do well and we went 3-0, 4-0, 5-1, 6-1, whatever. It always comes down to individual brilliance. But in a game like midweek where you had a red card for Wan-Bissaka and you had a pass back from Lingard, which inevitably cost us the game, the blame always goes back down to Ollie rather than individual errors. So for me, it should just be inconsistent. Either you praise the manager for the win and, the loss is on him, or you give the credit for the players for individual brilliance when we win, and then you blame the players when we lose. So
it's not that simple though, because when you're watching the games, it's not like United play the same way every week, and when they win, they credit the players, and when they lose, they blame Ollie. It's like when United win, they're like, you can see the players are just counter-attacking. Bruno, Pogba getting on the ball, releasing guys, scoring. When those guys are not being clinical going forward, there's almost nothing. There's
a gap in the. There's definitely
there's got to be a different way to win than just Bruno and Pogba turning up.
It's not just about Bruno and Pogba. I think people always say that there's a lack of style, there's a lack of tactics. Like, is it bad tactics or is it no tactics? Because there's a difference. Like, for me, Ollie has tactics, right? Plays a 4-2-3-1. He likes a player like Fred or Matic to be that number 6. And for those people who don't know what a 6 is, it's a defensive midfielder, right? And he likes to play with an 8 alongside him. That 8 either being McTominay or Van de Beek, though we haven't seen him much. So he likes to play a 4-2-3-1. And then you've got the 3 wide players, you've got the one up front. And in this case, you've got Ronaldo, you've got Sancho on the right. The up until the start of this season, what we've been doing is we've been moving the ball fairly slowly, but penetrating usually through the left. Either you've got Shaw, overlapping with Rashford, and then obviously the ball's coming into our centre forward, Cavani or Greenwood, whoever's playing in the middle. We've been struggling on that right-hand side. We've effectively been playing without a right-sided midfielder and a non-attacking threat from Wan-Bissaka on the right.
Do you not think with the players? So not to cut you. Do you not think with the players at your disposal, that Ollie should have figured out some kind of balance to counteract that? Because it was brought up the other day, like, not all championship winning teams are just completely balanced, and there's flaws in a lot of teams. So it's just I'm not even an Ollie basher, really. When I see United playing well, it's their main players getting on the ball and making things happen. And when United are not playing well, it's usually those main players are lost and they're clueless, and you don't get the results. So I don't know.
I'll answer that in twofold, right? So the first thing is, like, people always say, like, Ollie has no tactics. Ollie can't do it in big games. But Thomas Tuchel is probably one of the best managers in the Premier League, right? Bashed him 5-0, I think, in the Champions League. Knocked them out of the Champions League when we beat them 2-1 at Paris. Then you've got Pep Guardiola, supposedly the best manager on the planet today. Head-to-head, Ollie has a better record against him. I think it's 4 wins to 2. Then you've got other managers. You can mention Carlo Ancelotti, you can mention Klopp or whatever. He's got wins against all of these guys. Now, if he was just a PE teacher, which is what the narrative seems to be, he wouldn't be beating these guys, whether he's got Ronaldo in his team or not. We just saw Poch midweek. PSG's got Neymar, Mbappe, and Messi, and he couldn't get a win against Club Brugge. So it's not that he doesn't have a game plan. He doesn't have tactics. And to your point earlier about we don't really know what he's going to do, like, I think you were alluding to the point that we don't really have a style of play.
Listen, that's the missing piece to your point, right? Fair enough, you can pick up these results against, this team, that team. Like, no one's going to sit here and say United are hopeless. And some people do think Ollie's hopeless, but he's clearly not hopeless. He's good enough to stable United. But the criticism of Ollie is that's the last step. That's the last step United need to take, in my eyes. You get all the good results, etc. But that last step is those silly, naive games where it may be a final, it may be a Champions League knockout game, it may be, it's just dumb stuff. Like, that's the next step, and that's where he's getting criticised. It's not like, he just rocks up and doesn't have a game plan. It's more a case of when it really matters, when United really need that result, and maybe that Bruno and Pogba aren't firing on all cylinders. It doesn't seem like there's a way to go, I think. Anyway.
He's definitely worthy of criticism.
He's told Simon's bored of the United chat.
No, it's just when you look at it, there's no excuse. Like last year, I know they didn't have the reinforcements they had this year, but that team was good enough to put up a proper title challenge to the end. And then after January, we had all the, the noise, 21 coming in, 21, all this chat, we're top of the league. And then just completely fell off, and I think it was some dumb results. You just drop points against teams you shouldn't have dropped points against. And it's just like, there's no, as Henry was saying, when your superstars aren't performing, then it's just like, well, what's happening here? You're fortunate to have players like Pogba, Bruno, now Ronaldo, you got Sancho, you got Rashford, Greenwood. You got these guys that in the moment they can just switch on. Like Greenwood got out of trouble against Wolves, literally just out of nowhere, bang, got it, game done. But when it's times you need to actually change the tactics, I think that's why he gets found out in Europe a lot, because it's completely different style. You've got to be tactically on it, and I think. Yeah, I just think there's definitely no excuses this year. He's going to be judged on bringing back a trophy, not beating Pep or beating Klopp or beating Tuchel like 3 or 4 years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's just it's now he's got to deliver. And with squad, you give any manager that squad, and literally just put the team out.
You can say the same. You can say the same thing. You can say the same thing about Man City. You can say the same thing about Chelsea. Like, you give a manager that squad, and they'll win you the title. They'll win you the Champions League. Tuchel's got probably the best Chelsea squad I've seen in a long, long time.
And he got the Champions League. He got a Champions League straight away. And you can already see Tuchel's identity on that team right away, literally right away. They went to 10 men, 45 minutes. I said at half time, we're not even going to score another goal. You can just tell how that team's set up.
I get all that.
There's no consistency.
If you want to make the argument that Chelsea have a better style of play, like, I'm here for it. If you want to talk about Manchester City saying that they historically they've done everything, and they've got a great style of play, and we know what's going to turn up, I'm here for that as well. What I'm saying is, you can make the point that Oli needs to win something this year because he's got the best team or the best squad available to him. But you can say the same thing about City, say the same thing about Chelsea. One of those 3 teams, in my opinion, will win the league. And it can be, the pressure is on Oli because he hasn't won anything in the last 3 years since he's been at the club. But there should be equal amount of pressure on either of those 3 managers to win the league this season, because all 3 of those squads are as good as each other.
There is pressure on them, but their fan bases aren't saying they shouldn't be winning because they're looking for the missing piece to complete the Infinity Stones. Bloody hell.
The thing is, like, apart from certain people who tend to be on this Oli out brigade, who seem to just read The Athletic once a day and then think that's they're football coaches. Apart from that, there's not a lot of many people that are Oli out. Like, if you listen to like actual United fans, they're not Oli out. They're not Oli out.
Who are you addressing right now?
I'm just talking in general.
Look, there's a case to be made that Oli may have been judged harshly thus far. There's a case to be made. Like, I haven't got a myself, so I would say. Yeah, I mean, maybe.
Massively, because I remember when Klopp first came to Liverpool and we had the team that he inherited. Yeah. He was called a flop when we finished like 7th or whatever it was. He was called, get this guy out, he's a joke, blah, blah. The next season, struggled. He didn't struggle, but he didn't have a great season, just scraped top 4. I think we lost like the League Cup to Man City in the final. And, Klopp's a bottle job. And that was his first full season. But you could see, and all Liverpool fans are so patient, is that you can see what he's building here. You can see that identity team. And when we enjoyed the football, and we could see that it's going to take us places that we hadn't been for a long, long time. With Oli, I haven't seen that. All I've seen is him just add in superstar, world-class player, and basically put in an 11 of world-class, but I still can't tell you what United's game plan is week in, week out, apart from literally there'll be a counter-attack and one of those guys will hopefully put the ball in the back of the net. Literally, that's it.
Does it really matter about the style of play? Like, really, if you can get the results.
No. It doesn't. Listen. Its style of play is just an indicator that whether you're playing well or not, this is how you're going to win games. That's what the style of play kind of tells you, or it tells you when your back's against the wall. This is how you're going to win games. Right now, I could say if Bruno or Pogba, or one of them's not in the side, I don't know how United are going to play to win the game.
Mm.
And it's not only just to win a one-off game. I feel like that's that extra point, that confidence that you need to know that you're going to win that final. And you know what I mean? You're not going to, I don't know, lose to Seville.
Is that not the same? Is that not the same as like most clubs? Like if Lukaku isn't playing on the weekend, I struggle to see how Chelsea score.
No, but it's a different thing because Lukaku has just come in. Like it's not as if Chelsea built their whole identity, Lukaku's just come in. Obviously, they're playing off him now as the focal point. But with United, Bruno and Fernandes are pretty much, I see them as United style of play. I don't see United having a style of play being this or that. It's Bruno and Pogba.
Bruno and Pogba are two players in the team who are imperative to what we do on the pitch. I get that, right? Bruno's everywhere because he's not
they should be the ones. 10. They should be the ones at the focal point of the tactics, in my opinion. They shouldn't be the tactics, if that makes sense. Like they should. I get what you mean. I mean, the play goes through them, but at the minute, to me, it's give the ball to them and they'll make things happen. Which is what elite players tend to do. I just don't subscribe to the. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer diplomat.
No tactics. Look, I mean, Bruno was brought in by Ole, right? Bruno pretty much has free reign as a 10 to do what he wants, go where he wants to, right? Pogba is one of those players that has done really well on the left, and even last week, because he got an assist playing in the center of midfield. Like, it's a talented player. Those two seem to work quite well. I think the style of play isn't that much of an issue, honestly. We play different teams every single week, and those teams play differently to each other. So to play one style of play for every single team, that wouldn't work that great, in my opinion, not for a side like United. For a side like City, maybe.
I think that's maybe the point. It's not one style of play. It's having a main identity, right? This is how United set up. But then when things aren't going so well, how are United going to play? How are United going to overcome?
It's a plan B. It's a plan B that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We don't have a plan B.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with it. I'm not okay with that, but I agree with that point more so than I do with an earlier point, maybe that we don't have a style of play. I think the point about not having a plan B, absolutely, yeah, we don't. And we could see that midweek against Young Boys. As soon as we had a man sent off, ultra defensive, 5 at the back, took off Sancho, took off Donny. We had Fred in midfield who got completely...
We had no one who could relieve pressure, carry the ball up the pitch.
Yeah, nothing. No point in keeping Ronaldo up top either because he ain't going to come back. So
you had the best player in the world. It might have made a difference, but
effectively, what we had a 5-2 nothing. Basically, it was a nonsense, like really, really poor. But coming back onto the preview of the game, I think we beat West Ham. I think it will be 2-0, 3-0. Then we'll come up. Not sure if the greatest of all time will score again, but I think we'll definitely do well. It'll be a decent game for us, I think.
3-0 would be an impressive result, I think, at West Ham.
Yeah.
But we'll see. So yeah,
I'm leaning 2-0.
Yeah, downgrade it a bit. So now it brings us on to the final game, Super Sunday, and probably the best, undoubtedly probably the most intriguing game of the weekend. So we've got Chelsea going to White Hart Lane to face Spurs. For me, I think, I've read that Son might be back. Dyer should be good as well. So I think if Son's back, I think that gives Spurs a massive boost in terms of, creativity. Obviously, I think Harry Kane last week didn't have a touch in the opposition box, so that's a massive problem. Need to get him the ball. I'm actually going 1-1 in this one. I think that Spurs, I think Nuno's going to set up and he's going to frustrate Chelsea. I think, Chelsea don't look like they're going to be blowing teams away, especially the top teams. I think, they're defensively sound. I struggle to see how to break Chelsea down and get goals against them. If you get one goal, you're lucky. If they go 1-0 up, I think it's pretty much game over. I see Tottenham getting the first goal and then Chelsea trying to get back into it, taking time and then, somehow nicking an equaliser. I just think it's going to be one of those games where Tottenham step up. I'm not getting carried away with the result that happened at Crystal Palace last week. You can see the players that are missing. You can see the red card. And it happens. And I think, Tottenham will be up for this one. Obviously, it's a derby game. And I think, I'm going 1-1 with this one, to be honest. Steve, how do you see it?
It's a tough one, because we've seen two different versions of Spurs in a month, which are completely contrasting. I think last week, I couldn't tell if it was a Nuno team or if it was a Jose team. I think it was probably one of the worst displays from a Spurs team that I've seen in a long time. Like, really poor. Like, you have poor and then you have, like, really poor. I was really unimpressed. But then the first game against Man City, I thought they were really...
Clearly didn't watch many of Jose's games.
Honestly, I didn't see much difference between that.
At least he only had 10 men last week. Jose did that with 11 week in, week out.
It doesn't matter if you have 10 men, apparently, according to the midweek games. But I think
never heard that from me.
I think, look, Spurs when they played City, fantastic. I think the atmosphere was great. I think the tenacity was great. I think they played well, defended really well. It's a tough one. I don't think, looking at Kane last week as well, he doesn't want to be there. He just doesn't want to be there. You can tell. I think Son coming back, if he does come back, would be a bit of a boost for them. I actually think Son plays better and Spurs played better without Kane in the team. I don't know if Nuno's got the balls to drop him, but he doesn't want to be there. And, it's just having a negative effect on Spurs. I think long term,
he'll be up for this game.
You think he'll be up for it?
Of course he'll be up for it.
You think so?
I'll be honest.
He's at Spurs now. He's got records to break. He's got goals to score. He'll be up. I'm not worried about Kane. I think he's getting momentum back himself in terms of the Premier League, and I think he needs the ball to him. He's not going to be able to get the ball and run it half a line and score himself. He needs that creativity, which Son is going to bring. He's going to create Kane more space because then there's more than one person to focus on. I'm not concerned about Kane.
Yeah, I think you read into too much into that. He's staying. Obviously, he hasn't committed the whole future to Spurs, but he's there now. And you can't really use that Palace game as an example. I feel like a lot of people don't realise how thin the squad was on that day, who we had at our disposal. Coming off the bench, all that we had available attacking wise was Ndombele, who hadn't played a minute, and Brian Gill.
How do you feel about Nuno
going forward? Nuno, I'm not sure. I'm waiting to see. The reason I'm willing to give him some time and see what he does is because, he hasn't been brought on board as this, demigod, this automatic trophy winner who's the greatest thing since sliced bread and can do no wrong, and it's all about the results. At least this guy, he's coming in from Wolves. The expectations aren't high. He's coming in with a style of play, and at least with his style of play, there's actual an intention to get the ball moving through midfield into your attackers, as opposed to just sitting back and telling Harry Kane and Son to do all the donkey work. So,
do you think he's an improvement from Jose? Do you think he's an improvement from Jose?
Yeah, I think so. Not improvement, no, maybe not improvement. Probably similar level.
No, isn't it?
Huh?
It's way too early to tell. He's only had 4 games.
Yeah, probably too early. But in terms of if we're judging what Jose did at Spurs, I feel like Nuno can potentially do the same. I think some of our signings are good. It would be good if we could actually get them embedded for once. Brian Romero hasn't touched the pitch either. And then our injury, so I'm not sure if Son's going to be back. Bergwijn picked up an injury tonight as well. Lucas is a bit, so the squad's thin. So I'm going Chelsea 2-1. Just because, there's too many injuries and the players coming in that even new or not up to scratch still. So, I think 2-1 Chelsea is just too compact, too short. And I see Lukaku just roughing up whoever's at the back.
I think if Chelsea win like 3-0 or something like that, then I think that's, for me, I upgrade them to favourites above Liverpool, in my opinion. So,
You got Liverpool favourites.
Quietly confident, man. Don't sleep on us. Trust me. Don't sleep on us. You don't want us to get our momentum back. It'd be lights out. But I think if Chelsea go to White Hart Lane, especially if Son's playing, if they got Dyer back, if Tottenham got Lane close to the first 11 as possible, and make a statement, then that for me would kind of solidify that they could be first, because it's all good. You could beat Palace 3-0, you can beat Aston Villa, whatever, 3-1, whatever you do. But if you go to the top teams away from home and you're picking up these results, then that's kind of title credentials for me. So it'd be interesting to see. But I just think Tottenham, they got their first 11. I just think they didn't get a draw out of this one. I'll be very shocked if Tottenham win under any circumstance. Don't get me wrong. I think Chelsea will be very hard to beat this year.
Just give them their first L, yeah.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I'd be so happy. I want Tottenham. I can't see. You've got to score 2 to beat Chelsea. I just can't see many teams getting 2 past them, if I'm honest, this season. And they might lose a couple 1-0 freak results here and there, but the way they play against the top teams as well, it's draw or Chelsea win all day for me.
Yeah.
Don't be under the illusion that Man City are title favourites this season. They're not. Chelsea have a tactician who has beaten Pep in the Champions League final. He's beaten Pep every time since he's come to Chelsea. He has won the Champions League already, and he's brought in a striker who knows how to finish, who knows Chelsea, who knows the Premier League. Top scorer, I think it was second top scorer after the GOAT in Serie A last season. Like, Lukaku's a great investment, and he's playing with a team that was already had a boost of like £250 million when Lampard was there. So he's got great players. The difference is he's just got them working better than Lamps did. But Chelsea are the favourites for me. Everything that you said about their defence is pretty much spot on. I think it'll be difficult to get back into the game if you go 1-0 down. I think it's 2-0 Chelsea this weekend. I don't see Kane doing much. Even if Son comes back in, he's coming off an injury. I think Chelsea control this game, and I think it's a 2-0 win.
Fair enough. Well, there we have it. Predictions, reviews in, so it'll be interesting when we come to look back at the weekend, how close or how far away we were from it. But I think it's going to be an interesting weekend. I hope, as a title race, we can get that Spurs draw or Spurs win can happen. But it's definitely one to watch. I know, Henry, you're going to the game as well. So will you be in there? You get the result you want, and it should be a good one. So I think just end on kind of bets for the weekend, and we're looking to do some kind of predictions in terms of bets, and what our hot bets are as well. So for me, what I've got on is accumulator 5-fold. It's different from my predictions. I'm going for Leeds, Liverpool, obviously, Aston Villa, Brighton, which is what I've predicted, and also a draw between Tottenham and Chelsea, and that is giving you 5-1. No, sorry, not 5-1, 58-1. So cheeky £5 down on that. And if it does get to the final game of draw, Tottenham and Chelsea, I'll probably recommend taking the cash out just in case. Never leave your accumulators on a draw in the last game. It's going to end as it is. I've learned that the hard way. 5-fold: Leeds, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Brighton, and draw between Spurs and Chelsea.
Well, so you got Aston Villa in.
What's that?
You're Aston Villa in there.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, I'm not gonna encourage any Eddie betting or anything like that. But what I will say is, if you want to tip, Cristiano Ronaldo to score and Manchester United to win. I mean, it's probably 5-1 on favourites, but that's probably what I would do.
Yeah. Anyway, I've got I've got a nice treble, 16-1. So should be a safer bet. So it's just Leeds, Everton, and Brighton. I've got there. So obviously Leeds and Everton are 2 away wins, which is bumping it up. So nice treble there. Stick a 5 or a 10 on that.
Nice. Everyone,
You can go to about 12 Man City games with that return.
Honestly, if there's tickets for any of the big games, if there's tickets for the PSG game, I'm going. No questions about that.
Well, I'd be very surprised if there were any tickets for that game. I think, you'd have to look at yourself as a club if you can't sell out that game. What was it? £12.50 tickets yesterday for Champions League game, and it's 20% empty.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, to be honest. I didn't realise this was a thing, to be honest, but here we are.
I think it's so unheard of, especially when you're trying to get tickets for your own club and that, and it's such a nightmare. You've got to be in queues of 50,000 people and stuff, and then you see into City Arsenal, City Champions League game, about £12.50 without any fuss and get great seats. It's kind of like, how is this possible? But I think that's a topic for another show. There's obviously a lot of memes going around at the moment, and debate. Pep's calling for fans, begging fans to come and take the seats. So I think that's something we can review, dig a bit deeper in another show. But I want to say thanks everyone, and look forward to catching up after the weekend and reviewing the results.
Easy.